What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Rhody Rumble. Make my first appearance in a couple months. It's been kind of crazy. Me and Mr. Bernstein connected. Schedule has just been wild. Episode 25, and we're talking Rhody football today.
Yes, sir.
God, it almost seems like a lifetime since we really had a real fall season. Right now, I'm in my dorm at training camp here in Kingston, getting ready for week one next week versus the Bulldogs. Brian's coming to town Saturday night game, and the boys going to go out and represent the state. So really excited to be back on. And Bernstein's on his nice little vacation right now down in
I'm in Margate, New Jersey with literally all my family. We came up with this idea to do this morning. I texted Mo. I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Let's do a Rhody football episode preview. Week one is next week. I've had a lot of basketball guests on lately, and I've never actually interviewed, aside from like this one package I did for Don Coyne's class. I've never actually like sat down and interviewed you. And this one, I'm telling you, normally I have a script, nothing. I was like, we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna wing it. I'm in a sunroom right now in New Jersey. We're gonna talk Rhody football. It's like, we're doing this. We're just going for it, And we got one next week. So here we go.
There we go. So I guess I'll just start off kind of a synopsis right now of Rhody football. We're in week. We just ended training camp. Today was the last original day, or the last day of training camp before Thursday we start our preparatory for Brian, and we start to go into practices and a schedule that gets us ready for games. So our practice is based around the Bryant defense and making sure that our bodies are ready. So we kind of move away from a lot of contact and more towards technique, skill based, and obviously the mental piece of football. Make sure that we know what we have to do when Brian steps on the field on September 4th. We've had a really good training camp so far. A lot of players showing up, growing into themselves. A lot of the younger cats. Then obviously, our older leaders, guys that have been here now, with redshirt years and with the COVID year, we're looking at guys that have been around now for 5 or 6 years. So a lot of leadership, a lot of older guys, dudes that are 22, 23 years old that are playing football still. And, they're men and they're true leaders, and they're becoming into, true functioning citizens in our society. And that's what we want leading our football team.
I feel like COVID and, like you said, the redshirt years, having that experience on the sideline, being able to, kind of see from a different perspective, not really get into the games and get a lot of snaps or get a lot of playing time, but being able to kind of observe and take away from what's going on the field, on midfield. And now being able to, like you just mentioned, even at 22, 23 years old, getting the opportunity to play, even maybe for the first time in their collegiate career. Exactly. COVID and all these redshirt opportunities, seasons, set a lot of players back. And I think a lot of people forget, you are, just like any other student. And everyone's just trying to live the dream and play the college minutes. So, the process might be longer, but you got to trust the process, and you got to wait, and your time will come. You got to pay your dues. So
football is such a brick by brick mentality. And, there are guys that show up here as, walk-ons, begging to be on this team when they're 18 years old and they're fresh here on campus. And, they all of a sudden, it's 5 years later and they're, the guys leading our football team. They're the ones that you see on the field making the plays. And it's not always like that. You know what I mean? Right. Some kids start off here and they don't see the field for 3 years. They're on the practice squad. They're on the scout teams. They're the ones that are really playing a big part in making sure that the starters are prepared for the game on Saturday. You might not see that, but that plays a huge role. And the experience pieces, that's a lot of football. That's learning a lot about other teams and learning the game, defenses, guys that are on the scout team defense, learning other looks, learning other defensive fronts and rules and responsibilities. On the offensive side, you're playing in a different offense, guys that, we run more of a spread option here. There are other schools that run pro sets, that run pistol sets. So you're getting to play in different offenses, and it gives you so much more experience. And when you're in the game, all of that football knowledge that really has built up helps you so much. And just knowing the game and your football IQ. Coach Wheeler, my offensive line coach here at URI, always says, your Madden awareness is going to go through the roof. Your Madden awareness is going to become a 99. And that's because when you're on the field, things happen like this. Snap, quick moments, quick seconds. You have to be prepared, and your mind has to be ready to change and do different things at different times. So if you're playing offensive line and you might have one blocking assignment, but at the snap of the football, the defense changes. The whole blocking for the play changes, and you have to be able to be, attentive to what's going on the field and make sure that you can properly adjust and use the right technique to make sure that the play is successful.
And I think what you just said there about, what your offensive line coach tells you about, being able to use those opportunities wisely. You only get so many chances on a football field and may not come until your third or fourth year in to your career. But the first chance you have on the field and you have to make a big play, use it wisely. Use what you learn being on the sideline during those redshirt years, or being off to the side, whether it be an injured year or anything like that. Really, you have to make the most of the opportunity. And, again, I think a lot of people forget athletes mess up, athletes make mistakes, but it's just about knowing what to do and knowing how to make the right play and living up to that moment when you make your first, college play, high school play. Just try and make the most of it, make the most of your opportunity. You only get so many. So
you talk about making mistakes, every single time you step on the football field, you're going to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Any athlete, though. Basketball players, when they step on the court, anything.
Any game, anything.
Right.
You're going to make a mistake. The one rule is – there's two rules. Sorry. First one is you better make that mistake at 100 miles per hour, giving 100% effort. If you fuck up, you better fuck up doing it 100%. And the second thing is don't make the same mistake twice. Because if you make the same mistake twice, shows that
you didn't learn anything.
You're prepared,
or
you don't care. So,
and it shows that you didn't learn anything from the first time you made the mistake.
Exactly. Right. So you know what I mean? Yep. But yeah, I think, going back to training camp in here, a lot of players stepping up, making plays. The quarterback room's doing really well. Kasim Hill and Pop Robinson. I know that those are probably the two players that everybody really wants to see play, and everybody wants to see them lead. And both of them are doing such a great job. Battling for the position and taking care of one another to make sure either of them can play in a game, because that's really what it's about. You talk about competition battles in training camp; those are huge. Every day going out and competing. Well, part of competing is making sure your teammates are by your side. And so, if you're learning something and your teammate needs help, you got to make sure that they understand it too.
Reminds me a lot of like spring training, when you follow the Yankees or the Red Sox, who's going to get the starting second base. There's only like 27 spots on the opening day roster. It's who's going to get those spots. 25,
exactly.
6-man roster.
So, it's a lot of competing. It's a lot of back and forth. It's, training camp here. It's long days. We wake up at, 6:30, most of us, breakfast at 7, training room by 7:30 usually. Then you're changing and going to meetings at 8:15, position meetings, and 8:40. I'm kind of just giving the synopsis of our day. 8:40, we have special teams meetings. 9:05 walkthrough. 9:15 we start practice. Off the field at 11:30. Then usually ice baths, shower, go to lunch for 12 o'clock, 12:15. 1:45 we're back down if you need treatment, if you have a nagging injury, anything's going on. Usually 1:45. Then 3 o'clock we'll start our lift and or outside run through. And then usually 4:15 we'll have meetings again. We'll watch the film from practice. That will lead us up to dinner. We have dinner, right back down for a team meeting at 7:15. Then 7:45 to about 9:30, 10 o'clock, we're in position meetings. So it's a long day. It's a lot of football. And, it's all focused. It's all mental and making sure that you're doing the right things for your body and make sure that you're doing the right things to help the team be successful at the end of the day. We talk about it. There's 11 seasons inside this one season. and we have to be 1-0 each season. So what are you going to do to be 1-0 for this season? And that's, that's kind of our mentality, on the offensive side of the ball. It's all, 100% go, go, go every day. There's never a standstill day. It's either you get better or you get worse. So a lot of what goes on is, preparation. That's all it is. It's all preparation, physical and mental preparation. And we're just, vying for, opportunities on the field and, vying for wins, because a lot of games are won and lost right now with the habits that we create. So, just making sure good practice habits, good game habits. And there's so much that goes into college football. It's, it's colossal. That's the one word you have to, kind of use to describe it. Your responsibilities, your game mechanics. I mean, everything that goes down from, on the field play and what you're doing on this play, all the way down to what your responsibility is when you're on the sideline. You know what I mean? You have people that signal, you have people that stat, that we use the clipboard, we write in plays, we write in blitzes, protections, and then obviously being a supporting factor, be in the game, even if you're not in the game. That's a big thing that our offensive coordinator says. So, make sure that you are 100% all the time attentive to what's going on in the field, because you really never know, when you're going to be needed, to get on the field, or when you're going to be needed to do something to help people on the field. So there's so much that goes into it. But also back to the I know we're talking about, how training camp's going and what guys are up to and stuff.
But I think what you just said, though, right there, is being able to play a role, and that's just being a part of a team in general. And I think that's just the beauty of sports, like not knowing what's going to happen. Someone could get a season-ending injury on one play, and you have to come in. You always have to be prepared, I mean, connecting back to training camp, that's what training camp is, always being prepared.
Exactly.
You have 11 seasons. On season or week 6, you might have to come in, and you got to be prepared for that.
Exactly.
So, it all connects.
Those habits
I see what you're saying.
So yeah, I mean, there's so much going on too, and then I guess we'll move, kind of just go position by position. Running back.
I do want to ask you, and you can talk about this first, but I do want to ask you eventually about just like what it was like coming back on campus, because I know you guys, first of all, didn't have the fall season last year, and then played 3 games. One of the best starts Rhody Football has been off to in the last, I want to say 10 years. I was at the Delaware loss, but 2-1 was still a great start, over 500. And then being back now finally for the fall, I mean, you can go into each positions, and I definitely want to hear about that too. A little bit of the breakdown of who's going to be a star, who's going to be someone to look out for. But first, tell me, what was it like just kind of being back on campus, the whole team? I know there's some newcomers, whether that be transfers or recruits, but just all being back on campus together for that first meeting, that first practice. What was that kind of like,
It was a long summer. It meant a lot. And it's very sentimental to a lot of guys on this team, because we sacrifice so much. It's I think about, the movie scenes where, you slit your hand and the blood starts pouring out, and you shake another man's hand that also has the blood pouring out. You shake over the cup and it drips in together. We're all one blood here. We're all brothers, and it's almost like having the brothers apart, and we're back together, doing what we do for the first time. I mean, Rhode Island Rams football is built on, this August in Kingston. That's what it's all about. It's all about being together and going through what we call training camp.
Right.
It's a grind. It's brutal. It's, it's a month of hell, but it's the best hell that you could ever be in. But yeah, definitely very surreal and very valued, because, when we step on that field every day, we think about the Rhode Island Rams that have played before us for the past, 120 something years.
Right. And it's a big responsibility, having to represent all of Rhode Island across your chest. I mean,
exactly.
Big responsibility. It means a
lot. And every day we go out there to grind, not only for, ourselves as, obviously, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing as an individual, as a position group, and as a unit, but, the team and we're part of this university. We're part of a campus community. And, bigger than that, we're part of the town of South Kingstown's community. we're part of the state of Rhode Island's community and then the community of college football. So, we want to do our due diligence, do our part by, being the best team on the field that we can be. And that all starts right now. It started on August 6th when we got here. And when we stepped back out on the field together in the first time. And, I just remember, we're on the practice field and looking around and just seeing, all of my teammates out there. It made me feel really good about, what we had going and just that feeling of, man, we're back doing what we're meant to do. We made this choice coming into college to be Division I football players.
Gives you like goosebumps, right? Just chills being on the field, with everyone.
It just is, you go, we're 90 guys and the most unique 90 guys. We go through something that, a very select few people get to do, and especially
straight out of a movie. It's straight out of every sport. Like I watched the Field of Dreams, game with the Yankees White Sox. Fortunately, my Yankees lost, but when they're walking through the corn,
exactly
walking through the corn, when you're walking onto that field, you get goosebumps, right? You get the chills just being back together as a team. Also, just not only just as a team, but just for the sport. I feel like again, COVID just set our sophomore years back so much, and also you being redshirt, not being able to officially get in a lot much or any playing time, during NCAA time, or college minutes is what I'm trying to say. But being able to get onto the field with everyone, and now being able to kind of just hit the refresh button. I mean, I can't imagine how it feels to do that. It's probably, it gives you,
it feels amazing.
Right? Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, there's no other way to say it other than it's just amazing, man. Bringing back that true college football field. I mean,
it's what you came here to do, right?
Exactly. Training camp is really there's some big parts of the season, and the first one's training camp. You start off with it, and it sets the tone for the season. So, absolutely. I mean, just to talk about camp in that way, and you always say, "Oh man, I'm going camping." It's you're locked away in a dorm for 4 weeks, and the only thing to worry about is football and the guys around you. The outside world it's non-existent almost when it comes to.
It's so weird, seeing you in a dorm, because when I expected you to join the call, I thought you would have been in your bedroom, just because you're from, anyone that doesn't know, he's from South Kingstown, literally 5 minutes from campus. So it's just so weird, seeing you in an empty dorm, in the middle of August, getting ready for the season. But I mean, it's the sacrifices you make as a D1 athlete, and it pays off in the end. So I mean,
it does.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So it's just brings a smile to my face when I think about it.
Absolutely.
So awesome. So yeah, that's kind of what camp's been like.
Sure. Tell me, you're going into the positions. You were talking about quarterbacks, running backs.
So we'll go into running backs.
Right.
Running back room, Kevin Brown Jr., CA Rookie of the Year for the offense.
Absolutely.
Really one of the most electric power backs, I think, in the conference. I mean, he's a true bowling ball. He gets the ball and, don't let him get 2 steps in the ground because he's going to run someone over, basically. And, you let him run between the tackles, it's going to be hell for the defense, all day. And he has a lot of good supporting roles behind him. Justice Antrim, who's a senior this year, is a really good complimentary back for him. And then Gabe Sloat, who is he's a walk-on from North Kingstown. I played against him in high school.
He's already right. He was in our Com 100 class, right?
He was in our Com class. Gabe's been playing so well this training camp. I mean, surprising everybody, coaches, players included, and he's just every day he comes with the full focus, and he's kind of like he likes to compare himself to Christian McCaffrey. He's a huge CMC fan, so I think he tries to exemplify his game out. He's kind of like he's kind of like a speed receiving back. Another good complementary to Justice and Kev. Justice kind of another a faster, bowling ball almost. Justice, short, stocky kid. Right. Kev obviously a much larger guy. I think Gabe's going to have a lot of good opportunity to do some damage, and then we had a couple other guys in that room. is Tyreek Murphy, who's a transfer from Purdue. He's been doing a really good job for us. And Jalen Smith, who's a speed back out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island. He's also doing some really good things. So, I think that there's 5 guys in there that can, cause the ruckus and do some explosive stuff for our football team, when we want to put the ball on the ground or put the ball in the hands of one of our running backs. A lot of faith in them. We moved to the tight end fullback position. Joey Kenny, who's I think now he's in his 6th year, a true Rhode Island Ram, a guy that exemplifies, everything that you want on a team, a smart football player. He comes every day hard, ready to work. He was a CAA preseason. He's on the preseason team, I believe, as a fullback, and just one of those kind of guys that he does so much for a team, and blocking the ball, even though he doesn't get the ball as much as much as anybody would want to. That's a skill player. He does a great job blocking and finishing players and really setting the tone. And then complementary to that is Caleb Bourne. He's a starting tight end, really good blocker and receiver. Kind of like I guess kind of like a hybrid tight end almost. Because he can go split out wide, make some catches, and do some really exciting things. And then also in that room, to back it up, Brady Rourke, another great player, and Tommy Smith, 2 other guys to look forward to. If they end up getting into games, they're going to do some great things. Offensive line wise, in my position, I think we have one of the toughest, offensive lines in the conference. With Evan Lovell and Nick Correa, 2 of the best guards in the CAA. Truly a 1-2 punch, when you talk about a guard position and having 2 guys that can really play well. Both tough, both big, both guys that are in it for the long haul and love to finish blocks. At the center position, Sebastian De La Sudas, started in the spring for us. One of the smartest football guys I know. I mean, sometimes I think he's smarter than the coaches, and just his knowledge of the game grows greater and greater every single day. Really tough, loves to play football. I call him a New Jersey asshole. He's a true asshole straight out of the North Jersey, and he loves to play football. He loves to be gritty on the ground. Left tackle, really great player. His name's Lorenzo Thompson. Tall. I think when you got your tall, skinny kid, now he's tall, 290, rock solid. He can play really good football, and he's going to do a great job, anchoring down the left side of the defensive line with Evan and being a good, blindside tackle to Kasim or Pop, whoever's in the game. And he does some really special stuff on the football field. The right tackle, Jordan Riandu, he was a walk-on from Narragansett, Rhode Island. He's doing a really good job. He started 2 or 3 games in the spring for us. And complimentary with him is AJ Cornelius. He's a tackle out of New York. Another great player. He played in 1 game in the spring. He was injured for a little bit, but another great player for us, and they're going to do a lot of things.
Where are you usually playing on
myself into there? I play both the guard positions.
Okay.
I've had a rough training camp. I've been out for the past 3 weeks. Going on I have an illness. So I've been trying to get back with that, and a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of times getting a lot of scans done of my internal organs, and just trying to make sure that that's all cleared up before I can play again. Make sure it's safe, because the last thing I want is the removal of an organ or
right.
Even worse, a rupture of something. So that's just kind of been my focus.
Yeah, I know you've been telling me a little bit before we started recording, but and I know that that's like difficult to talk about. I know, especially because you had a big injury in high school. But honestly, like going back to that just real quick, and then we can move on. But I'm kind of glad that happened to you now during training camp rather than in the season, and hopefully nothing happens further down, like in the next couple of weeks. But
so my big focus, just with going to the season is obviously getting healthy,
right?
Making sure that doctors say it's okay to play. And then, hopefully, my fingers crossed to come back and play next week versus Bryant, which would be amazing. And
right,
that's what I'm really looking for. I mean, I've missed a lot of football, and when the game's taken away from you, and you see all of your brothers around you playing, it's a bitter pill to swallow. To not be able to be out there and just grinding with them and doing what we do best, and let's play football.
Absolutely.
Going through the tough days, going through the great days with them, and you miss out on that because those are just memories. You remember those tough days where it's 95 degrees and it's hot and there's no clouds and there's no wind, and coach is saying one more rep, and you're like, man, I really just can't do this. When you look to your left, you look to your right, and you're like, man, I got to do it for these guys right here, and you
Absolutely.
just go and get it done. And even though it feels like shit while you're doing it, when you're done, you feel so great that you just completed one of the toughest things that you could possibly do. So, I miss it a lot, but hopefully I'll be back soon. And for right now, just doing everything that I can on the sideline to make sure that my teammates have the best opportunity to win and get better every day.
You gotta be confident. You gotta be optimistic.
Exactly.
Long season. I want to see you in there. I know I'll see you in there at some point.
For sure.
Again, trust the process. It's a long process. It's part of this. It's a sacrifices you make being an athlete, but your time will come. It's gonna happen. I know it's
gonna do what you gotta do.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Always rooting for
you. Thank you. Moving out to the
favorite player on Rhody Football right there.
79 on the field, number one in your heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Moving out to wide receivers, Ivory Frimpong's gonna be an amazing player. My housemate for this year. If anybody wants to come down there against the beach, we're living right across the street, so doors always open. Talk some Rhody Football.
I'll take you up on that. I'm also off campus, so I'll take you up on that.
Yes, please. Ivory, a great player for us. He's going to do some good things. Him, Ed Lee, Teddy Harper is a young guy that's coming up, and I'm trying to think some other guys that I'm thinking of some younger dudes. JJ Williams really opened some eyes. He's a receiver that you guys will get to know. Rhode Island football fans as you pay attention, but I really think that that core group is going to do a good job. And we're a spread option team, so every single play there's a run option, there's a pass option, there's an option for the QB to keep the ball. So there's a lot going on in the offense, and I really think that those receivers are going to do a great job. Just playing their role and doing what they're asked. Coach Murphy always tells us, just do your job, show up and do your job and do it the best that you possibly can, because there's always somebody fucking coming from it. There's always somebody coming to take your spot. So you got to make sure that you play every day like you really fucking want it.
Next man up.
Exactly. So, offense, I expect us, to move the balls and score points. That's our goal. And, looking at our team right now, I really believe that we have a great shot at doing that. Defensive side of the ball, there's a lot of good players. I'm going to go through a couple, really good guys.
I was gonna say, obviously don't name every position.
Yeah.
Just name some of the key players.
Defensive, AJ B-Ball and Wesley McNeil on the D line. Yes. Two really tough guys up front. AJ, one of our captains, 6-year player, has been playing a lot of football here at URI, so his experience level and his ability to play the game is just through the roof, and tough as nails. West, the young guy, he's does a great job playing the zero technique. And then linebackers, Evan Stewart, really good player, Chris Arrington, two guys that are going to be really good. Andre Blackett's played a lot of football. He's a senior, so really excited for those guys. Defensive backfield. Jordan Jones, he's a corner. He transferred here a couple of years ago from a junior college out in Long Island. He's played some good football. And then Henry Yanakopoulos, a walk-on, that's done some really cool things. He came as just one of those regular dudes. Him and his really good friend Malik Gavick, now hold down the safety spots, and they're truly anchors in the defensive backfield, to make sure that nothing goes overhead and that they can come up for run support. So really excited about this team.
You named a lot of familiar names, and that's good. It's a lot of familiar names, a lot of veteran leadership.
Exactly.
6 years, a lot of seniors. You want that. And that's a good thing. I think a lot of Rhody fans, a lot of people should be excited about. There's a lot of names that, I follow Rhody football, and probably not as close as some other people, obviously you being on the team, but there's a lot of names I heard there that I remember and that I've had classes with some of those people, but a lot of those names I recognize and that I've followed, and I think it's going to be a good year. Again, we started out, we got a little bit of a taste in those 3 games last year, but now's the chance to really put the work in. I think it's
exactly.
So, yeah,
we kind of go into that first game. We play Bryant,
right.
on the state
Let's
team.
move to that next week, Bryant.
Yeah, so we'll move into Bryant. Thursday's our first real Bryant practice. So, tomorrow's our off day. Really the start of it is just getting down their base, their base defense, base offense, and what they do in regular down and distance. That's 1st and 10, type deal, and just making sure that they, that we know what their base moves are, based off their spring season and what they have coming back. Then from there, it just gets, grittier and grittier, as you can speak, like, we'll go into all the 2nd and 3rd down stuff. We'll get all of our gadget plays in there, and we'll get really familiar with what they do, so we know how to react, and we know about the players. We know everything that they do, their favorite moves on the D line, how they shift as linebackers, how they play as a DB, what kind of coverage they like to play, and make sure that we're ready so that when we step on the field, in front of a home crowd, we're ready to fucking ball.
Being that Bryant is an in-state rival, how important is it to set the tone in that first game of the season, really just to take the win or to play really good, and maybe not take the win per se early on in the game? Obviously you want to win, but at least to put up a good game, a good fight, and kind of get the other CAA teams to, more so set the reputation of what Rhody football is going to bring in the 2022-2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how important is it to set the tone in that first game as an in-state rival?
As we look at that game, I believe this is the first time, that all 3 teams are Division I and playing each other in the same year between us, Bryan, and Brown. So, for first thing first, they're a school in our state. They are a private school. We're a public school. We're the only public Division I football team in the state. We take a lot of pride in that. You think about public and private school, go back to kind of like a high school silly thing, but it's true. We take a lot of pride in having a state education here from the University of Rhode Island, and we have a lot of pride being part of the URI community. So when we go out there, it's kind of like a league of its own in the sense of like, all right, we need to go out there and bust some ass so that we can, show who runs the state and show what we need to do. And we obviously expect their best foot forward. They have an amazing defensive line, from what we've seen so far. And we obviously know that they have this game circled on their schedule too. So going into this game, it's just a true testament of a rivalry. And, the first year of a state champion to be crowned in Rhode Island. So we're really excited for it. We're excited to get it going. And we just want to ball under the lights, Meade Stadium, nothing better.
That's a night game on next week.
Saturday nights in Kingston. So
all right, yeah.
And then obviously
PM on Flow Football. If anyone here wants to watch it, Flow Football.
Yep. So or just show up to the game.
Or show up to the game. Meade Stadium.
Be loud and be proud. Wear some blue. That'd be nice. We love that. So
I would be there, or I'd be broadcasting WRU, but unfortunately I'm not moving until the 6th. And I'm in New York, so I'm gonna have to miss that one. But
watch on
I will be watching. I'll be looking out for number 79, but even if he's on the sideline. But
I'll be down there.
He'll be down there.
So,
but yeah, no, I mean that's an important game. Again, to set the tone in week 1, or how you put it, season 1.
Exactly.
Set the tone, and to get the win, and get all the other schools on your schedule to, really start thinking about Rhody football. Maybe a lot of people don't have Rhody football so high up on their list of teams to watch out for, but we could, turn a lot of heads in this game. Some players that a lot of people won't expect to come out and play big will come out and play big, and that's, I think, what is the beauty of just college sports and just sports in general. So
for sure. So
we're gonna be a great game.
Looking forward to it. It's that brick by brick mentality. Every week. Build off the week before. I've been, a couple other big games. We obviously have circle. Every conference game is huge for us. And, at the end of the day, we talk about our rivalry games. We talk about playing, Bryan. We talk about playing Brown, who, Governor's Cup game. What I take as a Rhode Islander to be, the biggest game on the schedule in the sense of pride and the sense of showing, who runs the state. Is it Brown or is it URI? And obviously that cup needs to stay in Kingston. So, and we play those rivalry games in the first 3 weeks. So, 2 out of the first 3 weeks are rivalry games. And I think that's going to do us a lot of justice, setting the tone early and bringing that physicality to the table.
Right. So Brown is at Brown week 3. That one's going to be on ESPN Plus. So going to Providence. That's going to be an exciting game. I actually might make the trip for that one.
So that's my stomping grounds. I don't know if you knew that. I was born
I did not know that.
on 9th Street in Providence. It's a couple blocks over from Brown Stadium. Brown Stadium's right off the boulevard. I think it's on Elmhurst, if I believe. I don't remember, but it's my stomping ground till 2002 when I moved to South Kingstown. But
did not know that.
So
see, I learn something new every day. I don't know if you knew. I don't know if you knew this, but I'm gonna be FM sports director of WRIU. So we're talking about potentially going down, doing the first WRIU broadcast. I know it's an away game, but making the trip down to Brown, to Providence. So I might actually be there for that game in attendance.
That'd be exciting.
I hope to be there. I hope we can get it going. I'll be talking with Will Pip about trying to get there and getting the equipment there safely. So.
I might call him later and see what that motherfucker's up to.
But you mentioned Brown. There's a lot of great games. I'll just mention a couple of the teams, of course, playing Delaware, Stony Brook, Towson, a lot of the CAA teams, Villanova, Maine, a game against UMass at UMass.
Yeah, we can talk about that
for that one.
That's a old school Yankee Conference rivalry.
Yes. How excited are you for that one?
If you don't know about the Yankee Conference, the Yankee Conference was basically all like the New England schools. And it was the main football conference in the Northeast for a very long time, besides the Ivy League. It was UConn, URI, UMass, UNH, UMaine. Vermont was in it for a short period of time, or a long period of time, actually. I think they discontinued football in the 70s, though, so they weren't around for that long. But, that UMass game is huge for us, the Commonwealth versus the Ocean State. So, they're an FBS program, and hats off to them for being able to bring their football program to that level. But, we step into that game with, 100% confidence and going out there and whooping some ass because, that's a rivalry game to us. Rams and Lineman, it's a game that's been played, for a very long time, up until, I believe, 2011. I think it's the last time we played them. So
it's a shame that's going to be in Amherst because if I can go, I really want to see that game.
It's a short ride up there. So
yeah.
You should come.
I've visited a couple times. I thought about going there. Unfortunately, I chose URI.
Unfortunately
for the Minutemen, but
yeah,
I'm
they weren't blessed with
Rhody.
you.
Mature Ram, Rhode Island. Born to be a Rhode Island Ram.
Yes.
Not born in Rhode Island, but born to be a Rhode Island Ram.
You were.
And now I'm bred in Rhode Island. I like to say so. Hopefully, I'm not dead in Rhode Island. But yeah. So I mean, UMass, that's a big game. UNH, and then the season on Elon. Trip to North Carolina.
Yeah, the last time we played Elon, homecoming here. Very tough game for us. We were, I think that we really underperformed that game. Thinking back to it, and with what we had game planned and what actually happened, obviously went 2 different roads. When you think about 2 years ago, the 2018 season, we went down there. I think we lost by 3, 24-21. Right at the end of the game. So, I mean, hey, we're here. It's not about the past, it's about the future. And
exactly.
Rhode Island football's ready to ball. So,
yes, sir.
Put anybody in front of us, and they're going to get our best shot. And, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You never know which way the ball's going to bounce. So, that's why you got to give your 100% to the final buzzer blows.
Yes, sir.
So,
I'll leave you with a couple more questions, but, what are your expectations? What do you, What are you trying to go after? Any personal goals? Obviously, the team goal is just to win, but maybe there's more team goals. Any goals that you just have for the season at set, in the future?
Obviously the team goal, our team goal every year is very simple. Governor's Cup, ring on the finger, and for the seniors, a diploma in their hand.
Yes, sir.
So, that's our goal as a team, and then we kind of go into to goals, my personal goals is obviously just be a help, whatever I have to do. My entire life, I've never been a kid about, glitz and glam and show and this and that. It's about, what I have to do to get it done. And, I don't care if I'm on the bench, if I'm on the field, if, whatever I have to do for this team is what I'm going to do and make sure that we win and make sure that we have a great opportunity to win. So, obviously been working really hard for the past couple of years. And, whenever that opportunity comes to go onto the field, it's go time, go out there and do what I have to do and do what I'm coached to do. I've been coached by one of the best O-line coaches in the country, in my opinion, Stefan Wheeler, and he does, amazing things to us. He brings us in. When I came here, I couldn't even pass block, and now I can pass block, I can run back, I can do everything at a high level. And he always says that I want to coach guys that want to be pros. And it's not necessarily that you have to be an NFL football player or want to be an NFL football player. You just want to come in every single day to be coached, and you want to play like an NFL football player. And that's exactly what he wants. And when I look at our room of offensive linemen, that's a room that we have, regardless, there are going to be guys in there that are going to have a shot at playing in the league. There are going to be guys that don't have a shot at playing in the league. But we show up every day like we're going to be, the next fucking Joe Thomas, and that's how we work, So we're really excited, and then, those are our goals.
I'm looking for and I hate this, for coming from a Giants fan, I hate to say this, but I'm looking for a traditional Dallas Cowboy O-line from you guys. They're known for being, great offensive lines, some of the best offensive line, in the world, in the country, and obviously in the pros and the NFL. But maybe in the CAA we can get some sort of Dallas Cowboy. I mean, all right, I'll relate it back to the Giants because I'm a Giant fan, and I know you're a Pats fan. But a little Justin Pugh, we can get some of that action up in there.
I prefer the 2004 Patriots offensive line. Sounds good to me. Those dudes were studs.
I'll say it. We still got two chips on you guys. So.
Yeah. Talk. Walk. So, yeah, but I think that's it. Rhode Island football review. There's a lot going on.
That's all. Honestly, I gotta say, considering we kind of whipped this up just throughout the day and just text back and forth. And I think I texted you like this morning, like, hey, I got an idea for you. And then we talked for 43 minutes.
Exactly.
I think that's a success.
So
I think we got to put this one in the books. So
we do. Hey, as always, thank you.
Always great with you. Always great.
Of course. So really happy to come back. Definitely some more episodes I'll be able to pop on. Schedule's
you're always welcome back whenever you want to pop in. Whenever you got a guest for me, whenever you got a guest for you, you don't even have to ask me. Just send me the clip. I'll edit it. It's fine, But you're always welcome back.
Thank you.
This is your podcast too, but I'll leave whoever's listening to this with this. I mean, Rhody Football, don't sleep on them this year. Don't sleep.
Don't do it. No rest.
We don't sleep in September or August.
Let me tell you, ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.
What's the saying this
bills to pay, I got mouths to feed. Ain't nothing in this world for free.
You guys got last year was like 6 more feet, right?
3 more feet.
3 more feet, and then it was 6 more feet because of social distance, right? 6
more feet social distance.
So what do you got? Is it 3 more feet again this year or no?
Forever will be. Anchor down and 3 more feet. So
can you explain that real quick? 3 more feet.
Yeah, so 3 more feet is it's basically
the motto.
Go the extra. It's a yard. It's our motto.
Right.
It's 3 feet in a yard. So push the extra yard. You're at 9 yards. You need 10 for the first down. You better get that extra yard to get that first down.
There you go.
You know what I mean? If you're on the 1 yard line, you need to score a touchdown. You better get that 1 extra yard to score the touchdown. And it's basically just doing every single thing, in your power. Going the extra yard. The extra 3 more feet to get whatever it is you need done and do it at a high level. So
I think 3 more feet in just life too. Always,
exactly.
Get to that extra mile.
We push for it, 5 areas. We think of 5 areas in our life. 3 more feet football. We have our football life. We have our social life. We have our academic life. We have our spiritual life, and then we just have our family life. So That's it right there. And
there you go. All right.
Our emotional life too. I should say that. Make sure we're doing what we have to do up here.
Sir.
Mental health, very important. I want to put that in there.
Health in general too, and get better.
Thank you.
Keep sleeping on that welded bed.
I got my mattress bed. Don't worry.
All right, good. I'm worried, but rest up, get healthy, and when the season comes, that's when you put in the work. 3 more feet.
Damn right.
But all right, Mo.
25.
Real.
We're done.
It's been real. All right.
Pow.